So hello guys, welcome to this video. Today in this video we'll talk about linear regression. This video shall specifically cover topics like what is linear regression, some jargons related to it, then we'll dive deep into gradient descent, and last but not least we'll do some hands-on with Python. So what is linear regression? Linear regression is nothing but a model or a function that fits on a data which is linearly separable. Yeah, I know it sounds a bit complicated, but trust me, it is not. Now, to understand this further, we need to let's take an example. Here, I have two features x and y, where x is nothing but my independent feature and y is nothing but my dependent feature. As you can see, there is a bit linear trend in this data. When x is increasing, y is also increasing. Oh no, we have one question mark. I guess this would be an objective that would be solved by the end of the video. I guess the objective would be what is the value of y when x is equal to 12. Oh, let's see at the end of the video. Now if I plot this points on a graph, we'll get a scatter plot which would look similar to this. Now to understand things further, we need to understand what is equation of line. Equation of line is nothing but y is equal to mx plus c, where m is my slope and c is my y-intercept. Yeah, we all have done in our high school days, right? Slope is nothing but how much my y changes when there is unit change in x when rest of the features are kept constant. And c is my y-intercept. When x is equal to 0, we get an y-intercept. Now if I plot this line on the given data, it would be similar to this line. Now this line which fits the data perfectly is called the best fit line. So you may think that there may be many best fit lines. This may be best fit line, or this may be a best fit line. So the answer is no. To understand this, we need to understand one term called as residuals. Residuals is nothing but my distance between actual and predicted. This line is nothing but my predictor. This distance is called my error or residual. The distance between actual and predicted is called as residual. This is residual, this is residual, even this is residual. Okay, so you may think that what would be the best fit line. So the best fit line is a line which have least residuals or least error. You all make errors, right? But what should be your motive? It should be minimum. So it same applies to the model. The error should be minimum. Now to know this, there is a cost function to understand this. A cost function is nothing but what is the difference between actual and predicted. Okay, so as the name suggests, mean squared error. See, we have an error, actual minus predicted. This y hat is nothing but my predicted value, and we are squaring it and we are taking its mean. And this goes for I is equal to 1 up to n. That means we are doing this for all data points. For all data points, we are finding the mean squared error, and it is called as cost function for this. It is useful to understand what is the value of m and c for the equation of the line. Now I have just told you with the help of mean squared error, we can find the value of m and c. But how is it done? Now comes the beauty of the algorithm known as gradient descent. So before diving into gradient descent, let us see some more stuff about cost function. So basically, cost function is nothing but shows you an error of your model. In earlier part of this video, we saw mean squared error as the cost function, and our work is to reduce this error, and we'll see this in upcoming part of the video. Similarly, there is one more cost function called as sum of square of residuals. It is nothing but we are finding the residual and squaring it. We are finding the residual and we are squaring it. The reason why we square it because to remove the negative impact of this on the equation. As we know, this is nothing but a distance, and we know, right, distance cannot be negative. So alright, let's hop into gradient descent. Now to understand gradient descent, we have to see what is positive slope and negative slope. So consider this as a curve and I have to find slope at point P. So what we usually do is plot a tangent to that point and find the slope of it. If suppose my right hand side of a tangent is facing downwards, we can interpret it as a negative slope, and if suppose my right hand side of tangent is facing upwards, we can interpret it as positive slope. Again guys, it's just to understand and make things clear. Gradient descent. Gradient descent is nothing but an optimizing algorithm used to reduce the cost function. So back in the video, we knew that we had to reduce this cost function, but didn't know how to. But now we'll know how to do this with the help of gradient descent. So consider this equation, W nu is equal to W old minus eta into dl by dw, where W nu is my new slope, W old is my old slope, eta is my learning rate, or we can also call it as step size, and dl by dw is my derivative of loss with respect to slope. Now if we consider this equation is called gradient descent equation. If our derivative of loss with respect to its slope is negative, so we can see this is negative, the overall this term becomes positive, and overall W nu increases. Now if we see similarly, if our loss is negative, that means our weight increases, and if our loss is positive, that means the weight decreases. The aim of gradient descent is to achieve global minima where slope is equal to 0. Okay, so eta is nothing but a step size of how fast you want to converge to the global minima. It should be very less because sometimes it just hops like from year to year. It never converges. It never reaches global minima. So we have to keep the value low as possible. Generally, we keep it as 0.001. Now let's hop into math, and trust me guys, it's very amazing. So this is math behind gradient descent. Let us understand step by step. So this equation that you see is nothing but my loss function of mean squared error. So difference between cost function and loss function is that cost function is for multiple values and loss function is for only specific value. The only change I am doing here is that instead of writing y hat, I am replacing it with a slope of line, that is y is equal to mx plus c, where m I have written as w and c I have written as intercept. The same thing, see, check, yi minus the y hat, I'm just replacing it. So before taking the derivative of this, we'll see what is the derivative of x raised to n. So it is n times x raised to n minus 1. We had this in school days, right? And similarly, if we want to apply a chain rule for this, so this would be d by dx of x raised to, suppose this was a question, and so we have to apply a chain rule for this. So the answer becomes n into x raised to n minus 1 2 minus 1 into d by dx of a plus x raised x. Okay, so this would become as 2a plus x raised to 1, and we know, right, derivative of any constant is 0 and derivative of x with respect to x is 1, so ultimately answer would be the same. So I'm taking the derivative with respect to slope. As you can see, the formula n into x raised to n minus 1 into derivative of itself. Okay, so by solving this uh, by solving this would be considered as constant. Even this would be considered as constant. So 0 0 plus, so this negative becomes minus x. Okay, and this would be same, right? I've written it down. Now how does gradient descent algorithm works? So it initially create keeps random slopes and intercepts. So for this example I've kept slope as 1 and intercept as 0, and we'll take the same data and see the how gradient descent works for this data. This. Okay, now I'm doing nothing but see, uh, I'm just putting my values in this equation. Now see this 2 into yi for yi, for the first point I'm putting it as 4 minus 0 because intercept I have considered as 0, plus 2 because this is xi na, so we have to keep it as 2 minus what was x, 2, so negative times 2. Okay, and let's see for the second point if you're getting confused. For C I'm keeping this 2 as same. Okay, see for yi for the second point it is 6, so I have written here 6 minus I. For this I have considered it as 0, so I'll write as 0. And what was w I have considered it as 1, and for xi I'll write this point times negative into negative of the same. So we have to do this for every point because this was a loss function, right? Um, this was a loss function. We have to do this for every point. So I have done this for 5 because I have 5 data points. I'll do this for 5 data points. Let's see. This 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have done it for 5 data points. Now I'll just calculate it, and I'll be getting as loss function as minus 45 by 45.2. Now I'll do nothing but just plot this on this graph. This is 45.2 where weight was 1. Okay, now let's see what was our gradient descent formula. W new is equal to W old minus eta into derivative of loss with respect to slope. Okay, so what was the first slope that we initialized it as? So we took it as 1. Remember here, as you can see, we took it as 1. Then the step size I have kept it as 0.001, or my learning rate I have kept it as 0.001, and the loss that we got was minus 45.2. Now by calculating it I'll be getting my new weight. See, as you can see, the when loss was negative we had to increase our slope, and the same thing happened here. We have increased our slope. Now let's do this for one more time. Okay, now my slope, as you can see, my new slope have become 1.045. I'm instead of first it was 1, now it is 1.045. It's the same thing I've been doing. If you have understood this, you will understand this too. And now after computing this, I have got the loss as 41.02. I'll just plot it somewhere here, as it is less than 45.2, and also weight have increased, as you can see. Now see again, it's also negative. So what we have to do, we have to again increase this weight. So as you can see, this is iterative procedure. Now one will question, so when will it stop? So it stops when theoretically loss is zero, but loss is never zero because there is always some noise in the data, and if it is zero, the model will overfit. The overfit is a term that we'll cover in next video. So when will it stop? It will stop when my new weight is approximately equal to my old weight. See now, it will never converge if both are equal. Actually, what happens is my bias and weights get update simultaneously, and if a function having two or more than two slopes, we call it as a gradient. In this we had slope for weights and we had slope for bias, so hence this algorithm is called as gradient descent. I hope I have made you understand this. Now let's hop into coding part, and trust me guys, it's very easy. So this is final part of my video. In this we'll see how to implement linear regression using Python and sklearn. So first and foremost, we have to import the important libraries that are being used for this data. So I'll be importing pandas as PD. PD is nothing but aliases for pandas. Then I'll be importing NumPy to do some numerical operations. Then I'll import linear regression from sklearn.linear model. Then from matplotlib.pyplot I'm importing pyplot as PLT. Then from sklearn.matrix we'll see how a loss function is. You remember this was a loss function mean squared error. Let's execute this. Now let's see our dataset. So pandas is usually used to read our dataset. As you can see, it's the same data that I have used for explaining the gradient descent. Now let's plot a scatter plot between these two variables. As you can see, this kind of seems the same and it follows a linear trend, right? So let's fit a linear regression model for this same. So I'm here segregating this into dependent and independent feature, where x is nothing but my independent feature and y is nothing but my dependent feature. Now I'll make a model for linear regression, then I'll fit data for this, then I'll see the slope for the same. Oh nice, we can see it is 1.21, and what we got was first initialized was 1, then we got 1.05, then we got 1.08. So in this way we machine learns and updates its weights. It's not done in one go. It's an iterative procedure, you can see. Now let's see the intercept for the same. Then we'll predict for the same x. Now let's visualize a best fit line. How would it look? So this is the line having mean squared error. Let's see what is the mean squared error. Oh, it is minus 3.87. Okay, good. Now you remember what was the objective at the first? We had to predict the value of y when x was 12. Let's see what is it. It is 16.91, which is approximately equal to 17. So yeah, so that's all for this video. Thank you and keep learning. Bye bye.